Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. So I decided to do something a little bit different, and I wanted to share my story with you guys today, because a lot of people have been asking me, why all these changes in your life, and what's going on, what's been happening. And I've been getting a lot of the same questions, so I decided, let's just put this video together so that I can kind of explain to you, all the things that I've gone through in my life, and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing now. But anyways, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Diana. Hey, I'm from Vancouver, BC, but I was actually originally born in London, Ontario. I love that because people always think, oh my gosh, you're born in London, England? Like, how come you don't have an accent? Well, actually, I was born in London, Ontario. Yeah, so we actually lived there for not too long. We relocated when I was 2 years old to Vancouver Island. So we lived there for a little bit, and then we moved to Vancouver just before I started school. But growing up was not, straightforward for me. I grew up in a very Asian household because, my family are immigrants, and, when they came here, they pretty much went straight into working. So they didn't have a lot of time to really learn the language, learn English and things like that, and go to school and just kind of do the whole thing like that. They just went straight into work, because they needed to support the family here, but also support the families in Asia too. But growing up, I didn't understand that. And growing up, the only thing I really knew how to speak was Vietnamese. And so my world revolved around a lot of like Vietnamese speaking people. A lot of my friends all spoke Vietnamese. Adults would speak Vietnamese to me. So when I went to school, I thought that they would speak Vietnamese to me too. And I actually remember speaking Vietnamese to my teachers and looking at them like all confused and puzzled, because they were not responding to me in Vietnamese. They were responding to me in this weird sounding thing, this strange language. And it never clicked that we were not speaking the same language. And it just made me really frustrated. I acted out a lot. I hurt people. I used to pinch and punch kids all the time. And they would send me to the office every day. Everybody knew me. I was the, crazy kid that was sent to the office every day. And I would sit there bored to death because I didn't know how to communicate with anyone. I didn't have anything to do. They just made me sit in a chair every day. And they ended up eventually putting me into ESL class. And again, I just felt so separated and confused, and I just wanted to fit in with everyone, and all I wanted to do was just have fun. So, when I turned 8, I was really lucky because I was actually accepted into a performing arts program. I had the best time of my life. I met the most amazing friends there. I felt so at home. I felt so loved. And, we did so many amazing things because we were taught all these different things in order to put on shows like Cirque du Soleil. We learned drama, acting, improv, magic, circus, dancing, singing, kung fu. We did so many different things. And not only that, we went on all these amazing trips. And, and without them, I don't think I would have had any of those types of experience ever in my life if it wasn't for them. And so that's why I'm really grateful for that. But another thing that I'm grateful for is, they taught me what hard work was. And they really, really, made sure that we understood why it was important to, have, a place where we could feel safe and feel loved, and also just be surrounded by positivity and things like that. And I learned what it meant to what it means to be part of a team, and also why it's important to respect each other. And I learned all those things there, and I carry those things with me till today. And I even teach my own kids those things too, because it's actually one of the reasons why I work so hard in my life, and why I always respect people now and things like that, because I remember those things from when I was younger. But even though I was in this amazing program, elementary school was still a little bit difficult for me, because for whatever reason, towards the end of elementary, kids started picking on me and bullying me, and they even labeled me Area 51, and they would laugh at me and tease me and judge me based on what I looked like, and it actually just made me resent my parents. You know, I blamed them for not buying me name brand clothing. I blamed them for not buying me expensive stuff, and I blamed them for a lot of the things that I didn't have. You know, and I always compared myself to other kids because, you know, if I were one of the popular kids, I wouldn't get picked on, but because I was different, I was getting picked on all the time. And so going into high school, it was a bit confusing because the performing arts program that I had been part of for so many years also changed their direction, and they decided to go elsewhere, so I didn't have access to that anymore. And so going to high school felt a bit lonely because a lot of my elementary school friends did not feel like friends anymore. They were not sticking up for me the way that I you know, would expect a friend would. So I ended up kind of drifting away from them and making new friends. And all I wanted actually was to fit in again. So I made it, you know, I put in a lot of work and effort into trying to find ways and how I was going to be popular. You know, I wanted to be noticed, and I wanted the attention, and I wanted to, you know, feel bigger. So I actually started to hang out with the wrong crowd. You know, I hung out with older kids from other schools. I made friends from outside my school. And, you know, even in my own high school, I was surrounded by a lot of violence. There was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of drug use from kids around me. I remember girls would like wait outside the dance, you know, wait to get in, and they would be popping all these pills and things like that before they go into the dance. And, you know, I just remember things like that. I remember school not really being about preparing for your future. For me, it was more about surviving, you know, this world and just trying to be pretty and skinny and liked by many people. So I ended up also, you know, kind of picking on people and bullying people too, and it made me feel good, and people also did that back to me, which didn't feel very good. But I was lucky to have a really close, you know, group of girlfriends, and we did the typical thing, you know, go shopping, do our makeup, whatever, hung out, talk about boys, did the usual stuff. But of course, because we were young and we had these huge, enormous egos, you know, we let some stupid minor boy issues get in the way of our friendship, and we actually ended up pushing out one of the girls out of the group. We were horrible to her, and from what I can remember, you know, I called her a lot of mean names, and I made sure that she knew that she was alone, and that I made it a point to, you know, make sure she knew that. You know, I wanted to destroy her because I was so mad at her. And, you know, after high school, I just started thinking about, you know, the whole situation, and, you know, I kind of missed her. You know, we had such a really good friendship in high school, and then we let this thing kind of get in the way of our friendship, and, you know, we had that falling out, and I just felt like, you know, maybe we can save this friendship somehow. And I was thinking about, you know, all the ways I was going to reach out to her, to apologize to her, to maybe try to find a way to make amends. And about 2 years after high school, I found out that she had taken her life. And this whole time, you know, I was stalling. I was stalling because I was just trying to find the perfect way to kind of reach out to her and fix things or change things or whatever. But I was stalling because I was also scared of what her reaction would be like. I was afraid that she was going to reject me like the way I rejected her. And then to find out that she had taken her life, that really, you know, woke me up, because I realized that because of all these voices in my head and ideas that I had put in my head or whatever, I, you know, found all these excuses to stall. And I regret it so much. I regret it so much because all I had to do was really just pick up the phone and talk to her. And I could have potentially, I don't know, but maybe I could have changed things. I don't know. And that's when I decided, you know what, I need to really do things differently. I need to live life differently. I can't live like this anymore. I can't live like I'm God, like I don't rule the world. I need to actually work for things and really just make a difference in my life. And that's when I started opening up to my parents and started realizing why they had been working so much all these years and why they bothered me all the time with trying to get me to stay home and, you know, making me stay home to take care of my sisters and take care of things around the home, cook and clean and all that stuff. And I didn't really understand why they were making me do all these things before. But then later on, when, you know, around the time my friend died, I realized that my parents really needed me because they were working so much so that they could actually save up to actually immigrate family over from China. And I didn't know that, you know, I didn't understand that. And because they didn't explain that to us when we were younger. And so that's why I acted out so much in high school. And I, you know, gave them such a hard time. And so that's why when all these things started happening, you know, after high school, I said enough was enough. I had to, you know, do something different. So that's why I started going around and I fell into the corporate world. You know, I changed my life and I was like, wow, you know, I'm living the dream and I'm working for this Fortune 500 and this is what I was meant to do. My parents are happy, you know, I'm kind of living their dream. You know, I went to school, now I'm working for someone and I'm going to be, you know, set for the rest of my life kind of thing. And I was so wrong. You know, the more I put in, the more I just felt like the companies were taking from me and I just felt so drained. And I realized at some point I was actually just working to fulfill someone else's dream. And I'm like, wow, like I'm not going to be able to do all the things that I want to for my family if I keep working for people like this. So that's when I said, you know what, it's time for me to open up that real estate company I wanted to open up. And then I started to go into finance, and then it got me into event planning and also digital marketing. And I was running all these businesses at the same time, and I was doing all these things. And I actually met a lot of amazing people while I was self-employed. And I met a lot of great clients and a lot of business partners, and a lot of great things came from it. You know, I was able to buy, you know, our dream home and drive dream cars and go on dream vacations. And we did all these amazing things. But what people failed to tell me was actually how much time it would actually take in order to build something, you know, long lasting. You know, people failed to tell me how much work it was going to take. People failed to tell me how much money it was going to cost. And at some point it became all about just money for me. And then I just started surrounding myself around people who were also really focused on money too. And so, you know, with a focus of money, we're seeing a lot of it. But then what I didn't realize too is that it was also easy to lose. And back in 2017, actually, my friend had approached me with atomy and was telling me all these things about atomy. But because I was so busy with all these businesses that I was a part of, and I was enjoying myself so much in these businesses, that I didn't really ever give atomy a chance. I just, you know, being a supportive friend that I signed up for the free account that my friend kept talking about and whatever, but I really just ignored a lot of things. She tried to help me and tried to kind of spark interest here and there, but nothing worked because I was so busy and so focused on my own stuff that I never gave atomy a chance. And, you know, and the trajectory that we were on in, you know, real estate and finance and things like that, it was always upwards, you know, it was looking good, everything was great. But in 2018, things started to kind of feel a bit icky, like something was happening. And some of my bigger, I would say, clients were actually starting to lose money. And a lot of it was just due to the market. And it was nothing that I did wrong or anything. It was just a lot of stuff in the market that was happening that none of us could control. But I realized something, you know, I had put so much of me into their businesses, and I had given so much of my time, sacrificed so much of myself, you know, in order to making all these things work, that I never really took care of myself. All I did was sacrifice my health and, you know, my time with my family and all that stuff, just so that I can, you know, make all these projects work. And I put in so much of me that, you know, when things started to go downhill, I thought that people would take care of me back because that's what I did for them. But I was very wrong. That didn't happen. And that's when I started to see people's true characters. And in 2019, you know, it was hard to swallow, but I really saw people's, you know, true colors then in 2019. I really saw who they really were. And that's exactly not what I want in my life. And it was exactly not, you know, what I didn't need in my life, because all I have ever wanted, to be honest, after the corporate world, was to just build something that was meaningful, long-lasting, and fun, and full of passion, and just being me, something that allowed me to be me. And I was starting to turn into someone I didn't even recognize. You know, in order for me to be successful in all these businesses and around the people that I was around, I had to be just like them. I had to change myself to be more like the people that they wanted to see and wanted to be around. I became someone I didn't even recognize. I was so unhappy, and I just kept doing it because I had put in so much time already, so much money already, that I couldn't just pull out, you know, I couldn't just quit. And so that's why in 2019, when everything started going down, I didn't really understand why these things were happening, you know. I put in so much. Why wasn't I getting it back? You know, I was so disappointed in that. And I had to make some really hard decisions. And that's when I said I have to actually take care of my health, because I was working 80 to 100-hour weeks. And I said, you know what, enough is enough. I need to make some changes now, or else I'm never going to be able to be healthy again, and I'm not ever going to be happy if I don't stop now. And so that's why in 2019 I shut everything down and said I just have to take a break now, and I just have to kind of regroup my thoughts and just kind of get back on track with my health and my family life and all that stuff. And I ended up taking 6 months off, just to kind of, you know, regain all the energy that I had lost over all the years. And I couldn't believe it. I didn't realize that I would need that much time off in order to kind of pick up all the pieces and put them back together. And my friend kind of came knocking again, and in 2019, and she was like, hey, you know, I don't know if this is the right time or not, but maybe you can take a look at this business again. And then that's when I was like, oh my, like, I didn't realize that Atomy had actually just kind of just sat there waiting for me this whole time. It never asked me to do anything. It never asked anything of me. It just kind of sat there and waited for me to either do something or not. And I actually thought that was quite amazing, you know, and the more that I looked into Atomy, the more I realized that this was actually exactly something that I've been trying to build all this time, you know. And in order to build something like Atomy, it requires a lot of work. And no matter how much I tried to actually build something like it, you know, for the world that I was in before, it just never stuck, you know, because we were all so focused on money that anytime I try to get people together or whatever, people were always pulled away in different directions, because their focus was always on, you know, earning money and needing to earn money, that we couldn't always just be together and do things together and enjoy each other and help people, you know, from our hearts. And it was just always about money. So that's why when I started to look into Atomy, it just felt a bit surreal, because it had been there the whole time. You know, and that's when I started to actually give it a chance and started to do more research and do more learning. And so that's why in 2019, during my rest time, I started to kind of, you know, I started to reflect and look at my past and, you know, look at all the things that I had been through. And that really helped, actually. I never actually spent the time before to reflect, and I didn't realize how much that would help. And now I feel like I'm in kind of like the healing phase, which is amazing, because without atomy, I don't think I would have been able to go through such pain and then to also rest. And then I'll also now go through like a healing process. To be honest, I don't think I would have ever been given this opportunity if I had just been an employee somewhere, or if I was still in real estate or whatever, one of my businesses. I don't think I would have been able to, you know, enjoy all this time going through all these different things, and also spending time with my family too. And so in some ways I am grateful for, you know, all the stuff that happened in 2020, only because I had some downtime to actually really focus on myself. Of course, not because of all the bad stuff that happened to everyone else. Of course, those things were horrible in 2020. But I do have to be thankful that I did get some extra time in 2020 to really get things back on track. So that's where I'm at right now. I have set some goals this year for 2021 to actually really, really dive deeper with a lot of the things that I've learned over the years, but also to help out at least 50 people this year, people who are not even part of my team. And I just want to do those things this year because I feel like it helps me kind of recenter myself, and you know, it's helping me get back to a place where I love, and it is bringing the passion back into my life. And you know, I actually feel really happy now, and that's why I'm really excited for everything that's going to happen this year, because I have this huge plan, and I was actually really excited about putting it all together for you guys. So even though this is the first video of this kind, I'm hoping that maybe I can put more videos like it out there. I want to go into a little bit more detail about certain things and whatever. So if you are curious about some of the things that I may have overcome, please just let me know down below. But I'm going to put out videos anyways, so please check back again soon. I could probably talk for like hours and hours about my journey, but I'm going to share with you, my journey maybe more in pieces, so that I can go into details about maybe some of the other parts of my life. And hopefully, I don't know, but maybe something in one of these videos might help you. And if it does, I'm so happy, because if I can help you, maybe that will mean that I can also help shorten your learning curve. And if I can help shorten your learning curve, that just means that you don't have to make all the same mistakes that I've made in my life. But anyways, thank you so much for all your time today. I'm very thankful that you watched my video until the end. But I promise my next video won't be so long. But I mean, if this thing kept recording, I will probably keep talking. But anyways, go and enjoy your day, and I'll be seeing you guys again soon. Bye.